Okay. Should be live now,
If
guys.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream.
Yep.
that's great.
Hey, Mark Boy, do you think you and Rude have this one? Because I actually have to get going.
I'm sorry. 1 minute. Let me go ahead and restart my code so I can be able to hear you guys better.
Okay.
Hard time.
Reaper, are you there? Cool. Alright.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, just let me know when the audio goes live. All right. Well, hello and welcome to the third episode of Crypto Chat Live. We've got a very exciting episode tonight. I'm your host, Rideman, and together with the other hosts, we are happy to have the founder and lead developer of Verge with us tonight. Would you like to start introducing yourself?
Hey, what's up? I'm Sunarok. I'm the lead developer slash founder of Verge. And congrats on your third show, guys. I hope that you have many more.
I'm sure we
Thanks a
will.
lot.
Thanks, we do too.
So yeah.
I mean, I guess, I'm here to do a Q&A, and I've got the YouTube chat up and the Discord chat, so I'll be keeping an eye on questions, and just feel free to ask away, and let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about crypto.
First off, we usually like to start with you taking the floor and explaining a bit about what Verge is and what your platform does.
Sure. Okay. So basically, Verge is a coin with a public ledger that has a wide array, more options for privacy than any other coin out there right now. We obfuscate our user IP addresses because as one thing that I think a lot of people overlook when they talk about privacy in crypto is that the top privacy coins in crypto right now, and I'm not trying to belittle any of them. As a matter of fact, I'm a fan of Monero, but the thing is, they're all broadcasting user IP addresses, and not a lot of people talk about that. And to me, that's one of the most important aspects of privacy is hiding your IP address, because your IP address is generally a person's physical location, or at least a user that's not using a VPN or something like that. Um, and even in that instance, I mean, most VPNs networks retain logs, even though they tell you they don't, because it's a law. Other than maybe in Switzerland, but Switzerland has their own intelligence and their own internet tapped anyway. So, um, so we focus on user privacy from the user IP address aspect, and we have a lot of resources that we have built on Tor and I2P. And tomorrow we have our Tor only Android wallet dropping, which I don't think anybody's done in crypto or privacy crypto yet, which is actually have a mobile wallet that is only accessible through Tor. Um, so yeah, so that's what we're into.
Great, great. Because I was thinking about asking you about that because there are other privacy-focused currencies like Dash, Zcash, PVX, Monero, like you mentioned.
So so what I was saying basically is with coins like that, like Zcash or Dash, these coins broadcast the user's IP addresses over the network. So when they say privacy, they're generally saying that it's hard to follow a wallet address through the blockchain, through parsing it. But a thing that's overlooked is that every masternode on Dash has the user IP addresses that it's using them. And the transactions are all timestamped and the user IP addresses are timestamped. So if people are going to try to pretend that this is privacy, it's really not. It depends on what your definition of privacy is, but for me, if I can actually find out where you are physically through a network, then that's not privacy.
Exactly, exactly. So that is pretty much you taking the privacy step like a step further, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep the original vision of Bitcoin alive, which is user privacy and a public ledger. And to me, and to a lot of people that I know, a blockchain should be public if it's going to be a currency for a wide array of reasons, and most of them are to protect the users of the currency. You get to see distribution, you get to see how many people are using the currency, you get to see who owns how much of what supply. So say you're involved in a coin that has a completely private blockchain where you can't find out these things. How do you know that like two or three guys don't have 90% of the supply?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that they don't have a team of investors that just bought 60% of what was on the market, at a low price, and then these guys literally control that currency. So you don't really have a true fair currency in that sense anymore. So I think that that's the main reason why a public blockchain is important, or a public ledger. You can, I mean, I can create a wallet address and use it and not share it, not tell anybody it's mine. But at the same time, I can give you my wallet address, and you're not going to find out where I live through my network.
Mm-hmm.
You might see what transactions I've done, but I don't care because you don't know who they're going to and where I am. So I think that that's one of my I think that's one of the advantages, is that we're trying to keep it simple, and the goal as we evolve is to continue to make the resources that we make available to our users more simple. So like for example, our Electrum wallet was, it's Electrum is written in Python. And once we created our Electrum clients that were for Tor only and I2P only, so they're two separate applications, for a long time they were just available as Python scripts because we weren't even able to compile them, and it took a while. But we recently made that available because a lot of people were saying, oh, I don't want to sync the blockchain, it takes forever, da da da. So it was really important to us to be able to get users to not have to go through the process of syncing the blockchain. Here's an Electrum wallet that doesn't require syncing, makes instant transactions, and it only connects to Tor, or this one only connects to I2P. So it's really simple to use now. So the goal as we keep going is to just kind of make everything easier to use, and then of course evolve the privacy techniques that we use too.
Exactly. When I researched Verge, Tor did come up quite a few times. Exactly how? Can you explain a little bit more how Tor is connected to the coin itself?
You mean as a foundation?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, we're not directly connected to them. We're both just open source software. Tor isn't really a company, so to speak, and neither is Verge. We're just pieces of open source software that anyone's free to distribute and use.
So will you be? Does that have to do with the Tor browser then? Will you be needing to use the Tor browser to use your shops, etc.?
Well, we're not going to be making shops ourselves because we don't want to be liable for what other people are going to be doing, and managing that kind of thing is just a nightmare. I mean, that's not a software developer's job, in my opinion, is to run a shop. We're going to have a shop for merchandise that'll be available on Tor, and we'll only accept Verge as a payment. But I mean, as far as actually running like a market or anything like that, we have no intention of doing anything like that.
All right, all right. So as for other product, what other real life usage will you imagine Verge will be used for in
Well,
the
I think
future?
tomorrow's release of our Tor only Android wallet is going to be a big game changer, because this allows for more user to user transactions. So it, it it's these wallets make instant transactions, like within a few milliseconds you have the funds in your wallet. So I think that these are going to be a big game changer, because now it's allowing people to move around and not have to require and keep in mind, there is no privacy option for mobile phones right now in crypto. So this is going to allow people to basically take what they can do on their computer with them anywhere that they're going.
So I have a question from Frosty here from here on the beginning here. How did it all start? Where did the idea come up? Where did you start with this project?
Let's see. So about 5 years ago, I used to run a mining pool, and altcoins were coming out, every week. It eventually got to the point where new coins were coming out every single day, which is pretty much what's happening now, still. But I started opening up a pool, and I was thinking, this is going to be great, and all these new coins are going to be coming out, and I'm going to get all these awesome coins on my pool, and I'm going to pick the best ones, and da da da. And after a while, I started getting like to the point where after about like a year or two, I just got so kind of bored of it, because it was every week I was listing a coin or two, and then within a week or two I was delisting it, because it was, it didn't go anywhere and they didn't deliver on any of their promises. And towards the end of this, I started getting into the ones that were promising privacy and anonymity, because I was thinking, man, that's really what Bitcoin is supposed to be. But now that now that we understand a lot about monitoring networks, we know that it's not private anymore by default. So I slowly started working with source codes. I had already had 2 years of experience, working with wallets anyway, running a mining pool. And so I decided to launch a coin. And it originally was launched as Dogecoin Dark, because we had a really high supply, similar to Dogecoin, but they actually have an infinite supply. For those that don't know, there is no end to the supply of Dogecoin that will be created. Um, and we wanted it to be fun. I was in the Dogecoin community a lot in the IRC channel, and there was like 1,000 people or more at a time. So it was really fun. So I wanted to create a fun community of people that were into privacy and into that kind of stuff. And so I launched Dogecoin Dark, and we set up some Tor nodes, and we had the source code in our GitHub, and that was it. And I'm like, all right, well, this is fun. A bunch of people came and started getting involved, and it got me really motivated. So I just started to pump out resources. I was like, oh, all right, let me see if I can create this Python library for the coin that interacts with it. Oh, I can. Cool. And then I just started getting deeper and deeper into stuff. And when new things came out for Bitcoin, I was like, oh, I want this for Verge, or I want this for Dogecoin Dark. And once we actually established some pretty good privacy resources, the community said, we got to change our name from Dogecoin Dark, because not enough people are going to take us seriously, and we're already doing things that nobody else is doing. So we ended up getting together as a community, and everybody voted, and we changed our name to Verge. And then we actually went from script algorithm to multi-algorithm, where we let the community vote which algorithms they wanted to see get put in for proof of work, and then we became Verge multi-algorithm, and yeah, I mean that's the story. I mean, I've just been it's been really motivating for me because I've been able to fund all this stuff myself. I didn't have to do an ICO. I didn't have to do a pre-mine. So, I also don't have to act a certain way or, be a certain way. I get to just do this and enjoy it. Nobody's holding a gun to my head or whipping me and telling me to work.
Exactly. So we have a question here. There's a lot of people often, especially now in these times, the typical fad right now is masternodes. Especially in the YouTube community of cryptocurrencies. So Terry Gallups wonders if there is masternodes, if you will have masternodes, or proof
Um,
of stake.
I personally don't have any intention of putting masternodes into the coin. We have talked about a few of us in the development crew. I've ran the idea by them about having optional masternodes. That certainly aren't required by any means, and they would only be available on Tor and I2P, and they would only collect transaction fees. And I've just ran that idea by them. But personally, I don't really like masternodes, especially like ClearNet coins, like Dash or anyone else. Um, if you're not running these masternodes on an obfuscated network, like you're just running them on the regular internet, they can log every single user on the network that's using them. So to me, I see them as kind of a weakness because if your network actually relies on masternodes, you know, and you don't have a whole lot of them, or you think you have a lot, but it's really just 100, that can be taken down. Servers can get DOSed offline. There's a million ways to take down servers. So I kind of see them as like a centralization point of a network. Um, but if they're able to just kind of coexist and not be required, and they help obfuscate users that connect to it, then I could see that as a potential option in the future. But right now, to answer the question, sorry, I went off on a tangent. To answer the question, no, I don't foresee anywhere in the immediate future Verge having masternodes.
All right. Yeah, it's just great. The more you tell us about the coin, the better it is. Alana Riley said that you have an awesome roadmap for July. Will all the July parts of the roadmap be updated tomorrow?
Yeah, actually, I waited till the last minute just because a lot of people kept bugging me about it, and it's really crazy, to be me and be on the computer and be working. It's really tough for me to be able to sit down and work for an hour or two straight without being distracted. I mean, I got a Telegram open with over 3,000 people, and then I've got the Discord with a couple hundred, and the Slack with a couple hundred, and the IRC with 100, and it's like, it's really hard to sit down and work when you have thousands of people and even 1% of them are asking you, questions all day. But somehow I managed to do it. And and it does get tough, but yeah, everything with exception to the RSK contracts, because RSK is still in the Ginger testnet right now for Bitcoin. But they're supposed to be due out, I think, at the end of next month. So the minute they finish is when we're going to start working on it. So we're just kind of hanging out and watching how the testnet goes. But everything else on the roadmap, yeah, it's going to be released tomorrow. And yeah.
That is great. It's that us who like to trade with these currencies and believe in different currencies, we love it when the developers are on time with the roadmaps. So that is great. Pablo has a really great question. Are you worried about people using your currency for darknet uses, and in that way gaining you a lot of negative publicity?
I mean, does the US dollar get negative publicity when people buy heroin or crack with it? I don't know. I mean, all currencies can be used for good and bad, and all currencies are used for good and bad. So no, I don't. I would be more interested in people that were saying that kind of thing. To be honest, like if someone's writing an article saying, "Oh, Verge is being used for this bad stuff," I'd be more wondering about what that person's intentions are, because why aren't they writing an article about how you know government, corrupt governments in India are using dinars in a negative way, or people in the government are manipulating the US dollar in a negative way. So all currencies can be used for good and bad. No, I'm not worried if people use it for bad. I would hope that people, I prefer that people use it for good, but I obviously don't have the power to stop everybody, just like nobody that has any currency can stop anybody from doing bad things. But I will say on that note that Zcash has a built-in method in their code to be able to target their users and track them. It's called targeted blocks. And being that Zcash is a private corporation, they could easily be subpoenaed to turn over all their users, and they actually have that ability to do that.
All right, all right.
I've got a question here from Saf Daria. Where does Verge see itself in 5 years?
If this is a price question, I have no idea, and I don't even bother speculating. As far as where I see it overall in the world of blockchains, I still see us, at the top, because we're in touch and we're in tune with what's going on. So it's like, we've been here for a while, and it's not like we're going to walk away now. So, and the open source world just gets better and better. You're constantly meeting new developers, and it's really cool because a lot of people are, it's easy to find each other nowadays in crypto, the people that have the same interests. Like I've met people through projects that we were both into that we weren't working on. We were just both into them, and then that project kind of fizzled out, but you still have the relationship from the other people that you've met that were also into that, and you share common interests and stuff. So over time, I think our team will continue to keep growing, and I think that the amount of users will keep growing, and that's where I see in a couple of years that I'm going to still be really busy with Verge all day.
Great. You mentioned your team. Who else do you have with you on your team? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
There's all kinds of people. I don't know if I want to. All right, so we have our web team, who consists of I guess I'll just use GitHub names. G Franco, who's a really, really talented web developer, and him and this guy Hello Karma have put together our site, and Greg's just been working on it like nonstop. This guy like works on it 24 hours a day, it seems. And it looks incredible. We have CryptoRect, who is just doing pretty much everything related to PR and web stuff and graphics, whatever. He's just like a multifaceted guy. By trade, he's a network engineer. There's just a ton of people. So many people just come in randomly, and they just, because our source code is open source, so it's like we're on GitHub, and anybody can make a pull and make an edit and then submit it for a pull request. So there's just tons of people, people that have been in our IRC channel for years. You can just take a look actually on our GitHub. You can go to the contributors tab for each thing that's in there. We probably have 20 different or more than that repositories. But you can actually see, and our website actually has pulls through GitHub's API, and it shows all the developers on our site and everybody that's contributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like 12 people that have contributed to our main source code, and then there's like upwards of almost 20 people that have worked on our website already, and it's only been up for like a month or 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely becoming a lot more community oriented, which is really cool.
That is cool. Zlex wonders. He said that he's heard about the planned burn for XVG. Can you tell us more about this practice?
A planned burn?
Apparently so.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that. I don't know. People are free to burn their coins if they want. I don't suggest it. That would be like burning money.
All right. Let's see.
I got one over here on the YouTube from Tyler Mel. Do you see yourself being 100% committed with Verge, or you will be starting a new project coin?
I've been in the crypto development for 4 years now, probably steadily. So I do help other coins. I've had other developers, say, hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, can you help me out with that? And sometimes I do that. But will I ever just leave Verge and start another coin? No, I have no reason to. You know, I was here when we were getting, you know, $5,000 a day in volume, and you know, even now when we get millions of a day, it's no different to me, you know. But I don't have the market mentality, and I don't just sit and stare at graphs all day of our market, because you know that would obviously affect probably me emotionally. So I just kind of tune all that stuff out and just think about the source code and network stuff.
Just keeping your hands dirty with the hard work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I was really concerned about the price, I would have left, you know, 3 months after I launched. But you know, like I said, this to me is it's more of a lifestyle than it is
Labor of
a
love
job.
more than
Yeah,
a bankroll.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so far this coin has cost me a lot of money to maintain. I mean, like I said, when we were only getting a couple $1,000s, you know, a day in volume, and we were in just a single Satoshi digit range, you know, I was still here working my ass off and, you know, covering all the expenses because I love it. You know, it's just it's fun for me.
There you go, guys. Go out, buy Verge, help the
Don't-
devs.
Don Tips wonders, will smart contracts be private too? If so, what industries will be able to take advantage of this?
Well, the industries that want to take advantage of smart contracts are really up to them. But yeah, I mean, the contracts, sure, by nature would be, you know, anonymous in the sense that they're that the origins would be protected as far as their physical locations go. But what information goes into the contract is, you know, those people's business. Um, what industries, you know, that's another thing is like, you know, to me, I'm weary of a coin that launches and says, hey, we have smart contracts just like everyone else, but we're targeting this industry. You know, like I think that it should be the other way around. I think that we just need a couple of really solid smart contract platforms, and the industries go find out which one fits them best. uh, to try to target an industry with the currency is kind of backwards. I think that industry should be looking for what kind of currencies that they want to use that fit what they need.
Good point. Good point. You mentioned that you've spent a lot of personal money. This is a personal question I'm wondering now. I'm getting a
Sure.
bit curious because a lot of other coins they have these pre-mines. They have ICOs and
Yeah.
different like that. So what kind of background do you have previously, since you're able to take this out of own pocket?
Well, I for a long time I worked out of my house, and I have my own network security company. So you know, I was on the computer all the time anyway.
I'm thinking a bit more like since you so like I guess that's a business that went well for you then. Since
Yeah.
you had
Yeah, and I mean, I still do it
financial
in my spare
stability.
time, but
Yeah.
it's like, you know, to me, I don't know, crypto development, not to sound cocky or anything, but crypto development for me is usually pretty easy. You know, like sometimes I'll struggle with something, but it's never for more than a couple of days. You know, I see a lot of cryptos that move really slow, you know, but we move at a pretty fast pace, you know, and like even when we had low volume and not a lot of people knew who we were, you know, we were still putting out things, you know, we were still very active. You know, I was making updates and releasing new things every month, you know. um it's just, I don't know, it's something that I enjoy, and you know, I've been able to cover the expenses, and I'm pretty fortunate in that sense, you know. But I guess it's like, you know, a lot of people have hobbies, you know, regardless of what job they have, and they put money into their hobby, and for me, this is my hobby.
Exactly, and I do really like your view on like that you're not you don't think about the price because in general terms I think devs that are working hard on their coin and are doing delivering their promises and are keep expanding the use of the coin and so on. The price tends to follow after that and tends to climb after that either way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was what I wanted, you know, to really happen with this coin at first. In the first initial phase of releasing it was a distribution phase. You know, I wanted a lot of coins to be created so that it was super cheap, and it could just be tossed around, you know, almost, you know, irresponsibly, where people could just be like, oh, here's 1,000 coins. I mean, when we first launched, the first like week or two, people were raining 10 million coins at a time, and it was fun, you know, and it was like, oh my god, you know, oh, I have millions of these coins, you know, and then people would just be raining and tipping each other, you know, 100,000, 500,000, you know, a million, and and it was really fun, and it spread out a lot, and and it got people all excited, and a lot of people would come into one of the various chats, and they end up wanting to hang out and be there again the next day.
Hmm. Hmm. So what's part like this is the question I'd like to ask like most devs we have in here, but what right now excites you the most about the Verge, about Verge? What kind of progress are you making right now that is exciting you the most?
I think that the new Tor Android wallet and the I2P Android wallet that's going to follow it, I think are really, really big game changers. Um, every coin, whether they really are private or just say they are, none of them have mobile privacy, and I think that that's kind of clutch.
I got a question here
That's
from Tyler again. Speculative BTC fork thoughts. Will it affect Verge in any ways? It's a good question.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I guess yes and no. I think that it'll be affected in the sense that uh, people are going to be looking to make money on both sides, and believe it or not, there are going to be people that are looking to buy Bitcoin Cash, and not just dump the coins that they get from their split. Um, and you got to remember, like as bizarre as the split sounds and Bitcoin Cash sounds, there are big names behind it. Jihan, McAfee, people like that. So it's interesting. I mean, I think that some of that profit will probably come into altcoins, but I think that a lot of that money, I think that tomorrow, if people are smart when this happens, I think the smart people will take their coins from the split. They're going to sell their Bitcoin Cash and buy regular Bitcoin. So I think that we'll probably see Bitcoin go up a bunch. And naturally, even most people tend to forget when Bitcoin's price goes up and an altcoin's price stays the same, your altcoin is still going up.
exactly.
And I think a lot of people forget about that, like or even if your altcoin drops by 5%, but Bitcoin went up 15%, then your coin is still up 10%.
Exactly. Trying to go through the questions here because I know I missed a few.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing. Everyone's talking everywhere.
I do have one question. I'm sorry. Does Verge gonna have any incentive program at all? Like if I have it in my wallet, I'm gonna receive some percentage.
There is an
Um,
incentive, but it's called proof of work, and you got to get mined coins, and you can process transactions. That's the incentive. In my opinion, people that just sit around and have coins in their wallet don't deserve to get paid for that. I think that proof of stake, this is my own personal opinion, and I'm just speaking bluntly, but I think proof of stake just makes rich people richer. And, I don't really see, if we ever implemented a system like that, it would be something so ridiculously low that nobody could possibly profit from it. It would have to be voluntary, to where like maybe the reward is, 0.0001 of a coin, but I am not a fan of proof of stake. So no, I don't plan on incentivizing people just for having money. I think that's kind of a crazy idea, and I think that that's one of the problems, that fiat currencies face, is that the 1%, gets way too many breaks. You find out that guys that have millions of dollars are they're making such crazy money just from the interest of having that money, that they don't even that they could be millionaires. So no, to answer the question, no.
Don Pips asks, "What is black hole technology?"
That was just a name that the community started calling it. Using the various like I2P Electrum servers and stuff like that. They were just starting to call it black hole technology. There's no copyright or patent on that, or anything like that. And we don't actually really like say that anywhere on our website or anything. That's just on our Bitcoin talk thread.
Next question being, do you have a commercial plan for to develop Verge, like speak to influence people or commercialize it more?
Like what I'm doing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love talking to people. Usually I have my head to the keyboard and I'm just coding away, but You know, I'm pretty comfortable with what we're doing, and I do like talking, which is why I can't really answer any of your questions shortly, and I end up going off on a tangent. I enjoy talking to people, especially in crypto, um, because there's so many different kinds of people in crypto, and everybody has like this one common thing, which is crypto. So you meet a lot of interesting people. So yeah, I do like getting out and talking to people, and we do plan on doing more marketing campaigns on that note. We're talking to Bittrex about getting like a sponsor ad. You know, we're going to start getting some more little you know, infomercials, so to speak, done. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of plans now. To us, it was more important to have a really wide array of resources and a stable foundation before we start trying to market more and you know, get more people involved. You know, we wanted it
Completely
just to
agree.
kind of grow. We kind of wanted it to grow organically, and have people kind of just show up and end up staying and sticking around.
This is something that I wonder too. But Adam Rich is asking, do you think there's any chance of any government interference with a completely private coin?
Not if it's open source, no. It depends. Like I said, like with a coin like Zcash, you know, they say that they're a private coin, but at the same time, they're not. If they have the ability to find out who you are, then that's not that's not privacy. So in my opinion, and remember, they're also a U.S. corporation, so s- so you they're opening themselves up to having to comply with the government and not being able to allow users to retain complete anonymity in that sense. Like Verge is open source software, so why you really can't just, you know, nobody can send me a letter and say, hey, you know, you have to, you know, tell us who your users are. I can't. I don't have that ability, and I can't shut Verge down because it's, you know, something that's shared with everybody anyway. So, I mean, no, I don't think that that would ever happen. Not, I don't think that would happen in most countries anyway.
I think it's just like a typical thing, you know, like a lot of people feel like, you know, government, they would like to know how people spend their money, where they spend their money, you know, what they're doing. That's why I would like, especially me, I wonder like this, that's something like, you know, that they would be opposed something that is so private and so anonymous.
Um,
Like, I guess like in a lot of fiat money, you are able to trace where money goes, and you probably
how?
won't be
No way. Fiat isn't really traceable. I don't believe that.
all right, all right.
I don't
Yeah,
believe that Fiat's very
so from
traceable.
what I've heard from a lot of people,
Digitally, Fiat is traceable. You know,
yeah,
wiring from
that's what
bank
I'm
account.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But paper Fiat is very, very untraceable.
I have a question from Jeremy. I see people ask why Verge. I think Verge will be better than Monero, but what sets you apart from privacy coin like Monero?
Well, the only I have Monero in my portfolio. The only thing that I don't like about Monero right now is that user IPs are broadcast across the network. Um, you know, to me, that's an issue. And I like that they have a private chain. I think that's great for like darknet use, but at the same time, I don't think that a private chain will ever be used in real mainstream adoption. You know, I think it's great for darknet markets. I think it's perfect, especially once they you know, get their method of obfuscating user IPs. I think it'll be a perfect darknet coin. But I don't think that a non-pub. See, that's my other thing is like, you know, I have Monero, but at the same time, how do I know that there's not like 3 or 4 guys that own 50% of the supply? I don't. And you
That
know,
brings me,
we're
yeah,
in
go
such
on.
an we're in such an early phase of cryptocurrency that I think that, you know, it's important that we analyze the coins that we choose for the future, you know, and we have to base them on things like who owns them all, because, you know, that's been a huge problem with every, you know, with every culture, let alone fiat currency. I mean, you know, there's always been the one guy that gets rich, you know, right off the bat and then ends up controlling everything forever. It's like that in many countries, you know.
brings me back to a question that was asked earlier. We didn't get a chance to ask. Since you mentioned that you have Monero in your portfolio, what other coins are you also interested in personally?
I like watching the tech out of all the different coins. Obviously, like to me, like a coin that doesn't do anything isn't really worth even looking at. But right now, I really just have Bitcoin. I have Monero. I have some Litecoin, and I have some Verge. I don't really. Sometimes I spread all my investments out, but for the last like year or so, I really haven't had less than maybe 4 or 5 different coins at a time, and usually Bitcoin and Litecoin are two of those, and Verge. Maybe like I'll have one or two others. Right now, I've had XMR for a while. I think I have a couple of Ethereum, but I don't really like Ethereum personally.
I'm hearing that from a lot of people these days that they're not liking Ethereum.
Well, they're getting a horrible reputation from all these ICOs that are just using them and abusing them. And I mean that's not Vitalik's fault, and that's not Ethereum's fault, but I don't know. It just sucks because all these contracts are going through that aren't really programmed properly, and all this. I mean, it's still early in their life cycle, but I mean, who knows, where all these people are that have like certain amounts of coins now, and like what is Vitalik gonna have to roll back the chain like every time it gets hacked, which is gonna be like every month or every week. Like I don't know, it's just I'm over it.
A question here from Tyler Mel. iOS wallet in the works, if even possible.
We're looking into that still. We forked Bitcoin's bread wallet to our repository, and we've been kind of going through it with a couple of iOS friends. So we're working on trying to figure out how we can make it run on Tor over an iOS. So that's basically where we're at with that. But yeah, we are definitely in the planning phase of getting an iOS wallet out. Yes.
Awesome.
951 asks, why and how is the new Tor Android wallet a game changer, and to what extent?
Well, there's never been a mobile wallet for crypto that obfuscates the user's identity. So basically, if I ran, if I were monitoring the network, I would see your cell phone IP address, on other applications. So no, I don't think any coin's done this, and I think that it's pretty exciting that that we've got this done now. It makes transactions really really easy. You have a QR code on your screen. I have the little scan button on mine. I scan your QR code, send you coins. You have them like instantly. It's not like we have to sit there now in the same room and just stare at each other for 20 minutes. Um, it's nice, and then it's got some really nice security features. Like it has a lock on it. It has fingerprint locking, has pin code locking if you don't want to use fingerprints. It's really easy to restore your wallet because it uses BIP. So it's like, you got 12 words and you can restore your Android wallet anywhere you want. You could toss your phone away and just grab another one and download the app and then put your, code into it and you have your coins again. So it's just really, really convenient, and it's really easy to use, and it's great for user IP obfuscation.
That sounds absolutely great, actually.
Adam Rich asks, Safe Exchange seems like a interesting coin. Have you read anything about them?
What coin is it?
Safe Exchange.
Oh, SafeX. Yeah, I've heard of SafeX.
We had one of their guys on the show not last night, the night before.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I'm not really too familiar with it much, so I haven't had a chance to check it out. Is it something I should look into?
It was just a viewer question on YouTube. It's pretty cool. If you like, you can check our video from episode 2. We had the Safe Exchange dev on our show.
Oh, okay, cool.
Is there anything else like you feel you haven't said yet that you would like to talk more about? Because the more excited you are about it, the better it will,
I don't know. I mean, I really I look forward to everything. I'm constantly, half the time I spend working, and the other half of the time I spend thinking about what else I want to do. So
when you try and get away from work, what is it you like to do to go and unwind?
I like to lift weights. I'm a big weightlifter. Been working out, lifting weights for like 20 years. And I just like that exhausted feeling, you know, and being completely worn out. I like when I go to lay down at night, falling asleep within like 2 or 3 minutes. I also like art. I like to paint. Uh, I've been painting for about 20 some odd years. I
I
like
do have
eating. I like eating too.
I
So,
do have one question for you. Does Verge going to be in the Asian market, like all the big market that can make the price kind of go up a little bit, like where they have big population, like Indian market, Asian market? Are Verge gonna be listed on all those markets?
I mean, I would hope so. You know, I think that as our user base spreads, you know, so does the amount of the globe that we cover. So, you know, like just the other day or like last month, we got added to Lightbit in Europe. So, I mean, as we gain more users from other countries, I think that you know that those people will get us, you know, requested on the exchanges that they use. But right now, I mean, we don't sit around and you know look for exchanges to add us. You know, we want to grow our user base to where our users want us where they you know are on their markets.
And I
Private
do
key.
have
A big shout out to the folks of the Verge Telegram group. I am personally also on your Verge Telegram, and we know that you guys are very active on all social platforms. Is there any other platforms that you would like to let our viewers know where they can follow you guys and interact with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally on like almost all of them. We have a Steam group, the video game platform Steam. We have a bot there that can actually transfer Verge coins through it to other users. So you can actually go onto like Steam, like and you know talk to one of your friends and send them coins over our community. Um, we have a Reddit. You know, we've got a Telegram, a Slack. We've got an IRC channel. Uh, we've got Discord. So yeah, I mean we're on everything. We even have an Instagram that a community user recently made. So yeah, we got all the bases covered. So people are more than welcome to stop by on any of our platforms, and I've actually slowly been connecting them all. So the people in our IRC chat can actually talk to the people in the Steam video game chat. And soon I'll be linking the Telegram to the IRC channel and the Slack, so that everybody that's on various platforms can actually speak across them.
So that is cool. With the update of the July roadmap tomorrow, will you be updating what's going to happen for September and throughout the rest of the year?
So next month, we're gonna have actually a bot that lets you send Verge coins over Telegram. We're gonna have one that lets you send coins here over Discord on our Discord server. Um, so I mean, we've been brainstorming all month in between work and working on the releases for this month, and so we're still going to be probably adding more things to the roadmap as we go along. But within the next couple of days, we'll actually have September roadmap up anyway. So
We'll
our
definitely
website is open source and it's actually served from our GitHub. So we add to it like around the clock, you know.
get a wallet for ourselves, a Verge wallet for Crypto Chat Live on Discord, because we believe in Discord. We think also Discord is going to be big in the years coming, and we would like to implement your wallet and use your wallet as well for our show.
Well, yeah, it's going to be open source and it's going to be on our GitHub. So I'll show you guys how you can run and you know, and you'll be able to run it right off. You'll be able to copy the code right off of our GitHub to run it.
well, we'll send you
And
towards our host Hatchet. He's our technical boffin. He's got his own
yeah, so
mining farm a bit, like
yeah,
you were saying earlier. I think he's
yeah,
working on building
we'll
his
get
own.
it up and running pretty easy, I'm sure. And then you guys can have a Verge transfer bot over your Discord server too.
Yeah, that'd
It's
be
not a
awesome.
problem. Be more than happy to help you guys with that.
UNC Wonders tells you, can you talk about the Verge Radio? What's the idea? Do you take submissions?
Uh, sure, we take submissions. Why not? Well, we had Verge Radio. First, we had Dogecoin Dark Radio, and then we had Verge Radio, and then we actually just kind of branched the radio off into its own thing called Radio Crypto, where the people that were doing shows are now just doing shows on the Radio Crypto site. So we've kind of we've kind of turned that community into something bigger, or given it a platform to grow a lot more. So, we used to have like maybe 5 to 15 listeners a night, and now we're averaging over 100 every 24 hours. So, I'm hoping that it just keeps growing and growing, and eventually we become, kind of a source of information in the crypto world. None of the people that do talk shows on Radio Crypto are censored or anything like that. So, they all have different opinions that don't necessarily reflect the opinions of Verge currency, so to speak. But people are free to talk about what they want, play whatever kind of music they want. And most of the stuff that gets brought up is generally about uh, blockchains in general and crypto in general, and so that's basically what it is. And that's what we have going on for Verge Radio. It's now actually Radio Crypto.
I have one question. Will Verge Radio will be kind of like Pandora? Will we have it on our mobile? So,
No, it'll be mostly like it'll have a schedule that just runs 24 hours with people, that either connect to the server and play music, or connect, and play, and talk about stuff. Like we have a show right now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, called Coin Metal, and we have the host is Frank Dashwood, and he pretty much plays heavy metal and talks about the latest in crypto and blockchain news, and that's 3 nights a week. And then we have Rick Stoner that hosts Rick and Bitcoin on Saturdays and Sundays. I do a show there on Thursday nights that's just kind of random about infosec, security stuff, stuff like that. That's only once a week, but eventually we're going to start letting these go bigger and bigger over time, and we're hoping to fill the entire platform up.
How do people tune into your radio station? I'm sure there's links on your website.
Yeah, I think so. It's radiocrypto.com.
There was a
It's
personal
still
question.
it's still under work.
There was a personal question in the chat. What is your personal strategy for the Bitcoin fork? If you have any Bitcoins, what will you do with your Bitcash? Bitcoin
I'll,
Cash.
I'll I'll be candid. I'll answer that. So right now I bought some Bitcoin the other day at, like, I think about 4 or 5 days ago, at like 2450. And right now I'm just kind of sitting on most of my Bitcoin on GDAX, waiting to see if Bitcoin goes flying up, and then I'm going to try to sell it at some price that I think is high. And I have like a couple of Bitcoins in my Electrum wallet that I plan on extracting from the Bitcoin Cash Electrum wallet, and I'm going to send those to the exchange and try to play that market and see what happens with it. I'll either try to sell them high and buy more low, or maybe I'll end up buying high and selling low. Who knows?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be an interesting day
certainly will.
or night, depending on where
Planning.
you are.
We are planning to have a 24-hour broadcast when the split happens. So if you guys on
Nice.
doubt and fear,
That's
come join
awesome.
us. We will
Very
have a
cool. Very
round the
cool.
clock
Do you
stream
guys
of the fork.
do you guys have a lot of coffee and stuff? Are you going to be able to handle that?
Yeah, we're a
Yeah.
multicultural team. We are scattered all over the world, and we help each other out well. This is a very much community thing, and
Nice.
we all help each other out. So we will be good, man.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's interesting. This Discord has actually just been around for under a week, and already we know each other a little bit just across different Discord channels. But this
Awesome.
Discord channel has been growing rapidly.
That's awesome, guys. Yeah, I see you already have a bunch of people in the room too. That's awesome. It's a very nicely organized Discord server.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah.
All right. Any other hosts with any questions, personal questions, or any questions you chat?
I have a question. Do you have a faucet for Verge? Since I see you have a big max supply, do you have a faucet for people who want to try out, know how they're supposed to work their wallet and everything?
So we have a game faucet at faucet.vergecurrency.com, but people started kind of like abusing it and playing it like, nonstop, because it's kind of a fun game. I'm not gonna lie, it gets like addictive. Like when I like sometimes you end up just wanting to play one game and you end up playing like several in a row because you're trying to beat your previous score. But yeah, so we basically started working on the code to make it limit to pay out for each IP address once a day. We almost have that code done. I haven't touched it in like about a week and a half, just because I've been making sure that the rest of the releases that are on the roadmap are ready. But it'll start paying out again, probably within a week or two tops. I just have to get around to finishing up the IP limiting stuff. But you can check it out. I mean, it's playable right now. It won't send you coins at the end of it. And it's faucet.vergecurrency.com.
You heard it there first, guys. If you want to still abuse it, now is the time to do it.
Yeah, it'll let you play as many times as you want right now.
Played that game before, and I can vouch it is a cool game.
Yeah, it's fun. The only problem is that, like at some point you realize that the memory pool has like a zillion transactions in it because people are just like playing it nonstop. Like it got to the point where there was like, I think 250 people playing it at once at the same time. So it just got to be much. But yeah, I'll swap those old logos out too, and I'll have that back up and running probably within about 2 weeks. But the only thing about that is that it relies on donations. So we really have to figure out what kind of reward system for it is fair. Before, it was paying out an average of like 10 coins, but some people have gotten like almost 100. So we got to figure out like some kind of fair reward system for it too. So I just let it run out of coins, and then I disabled the payout until I limit the IPs and stuff. But it'll be back up soon.
Great, great. So see if you can find any other questions here. All right.
I do have I do have a questions, but it's kind of weird. Since
Go
I
ahead.
see that you have a max supply over
16 billion.
yes,
16.55 billion.
yes. Since I see that your max supply is over 16 billion,
Yeah.
what what can like some a whale who have a lot of money to buy it all? Like since the price is so low.
What do you mean?
Like at first you say when I was listening to you, you said the reason why you supply like this in case if you don't know like you don't want one person to be in control of the whole coin and
Right.
yes, but what gonna impesh somebody who have the opportunity to buy the whole max supply and govern the whole market?
Well, the whole supply isn't available right now. You know what I mean? Like, we've been around for so long and has had a low value for a long time, so a lot of people were able to buy um, pretty good amounts, but not majority of the coin supply itself amounts. So you have a lot of people that own 10 million coins right now, um, that got them back when they were, only 2, 3, 4, 5 Satoshi. Um, but also, those people are still not whales now, just because we have so much buy support generally. So people, the market can handle that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I think that right now we have a lot of distribution. I mean, when I look, at like the console of like the Electrum server, like I constantly see people, like connecting to it. So it's like, oh wow, okay. A lot of people use the coin, so I know that it's really well spread out. So I don't really think that we have to worry about that kind of stuff. I mean, nobody can buy all 16 billion coins anyway, because there's only, I don't know. Let me pull up Bittrex really quick. There's only 1 billion Verge for sale on Bittrex. So even if somebody went and bought all of them, that would still only be 1/16 of the supply.
All right. Okay.
And they would also have to spend a lot of money to do that. It would cost them 140, 1.4 million bitcoins. So
It's a great amount.
yeah, it's 10% of the supply of Bitcoin.
Wow. Essentially, will not happen.
Yeah, they would have to have 10% of all the Bitcoins. I would be pretty impressed.
Well, Rothschild's supposed to be entering the market. You never know.
Well, the Bilderberg Group already entered the market years ago.
I
So
have one. I have one other question. At the moment, where does any marketplace, what any marketplace do you know accept your currency?
I don't know. I don't really follow marketplaces too much. That's something that I try to keep my hands out of. Um, but as far as like I know that there's people that accept Verge payments. Like I know there's Pex Peppers that he does hot sauce and honey and like all kinds of products like that. He accepts Verge. There might be a merchants list on coin payments for all the people that accept Verge, because I mean everybody that has coin payments can accept Verge. All merchants that have that. And then we also have resources on our GitHub specifically for people who want to build their own custom software to, have a wallet built in. We have like a Python library for Verge. We have a Ruby library for Verge. We have a Node.js library for Verge, PHP. So we're very versatile and easy to connect to, as a payment option. So um, that's definitely something that I see a lot of us growing, and I think I see a lot of new markets will probably be popping up that are going to be accepting Verge.
Okay. And I was hearing you saying that you're going to have a Android wallet. Do you have any chance? Are you going to develop also an iOS wallet for people who have iPhones, since the wallet it will be so secure, people will not be able to track people IP when in the wallet. Do you have any thought of that?
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, we have an iOS wallet source code right now in our GitHub repository that we're slowly looking at and planning on how to, make it secure and see what we can do to make it equivalent to our Android wallet. So we're definitely working on that.
All right, correct.
951 wonders where he can see the rich list for Verge.
I have to scale. We have so many block explorers, and I have to actually scale the Verge currency.info one up a bit. So I'll put that one back up line in like the next day or two, and it'll have a rich list on it. But right now, it's just like I had it on a really small server, so I have to upscale it.
Without going into exact prices, do you think Verge is a good coin to be buying and hodling?
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're a long-term investor, sure. It depends on that. That's up to what kind of investor the person is. There's people that, you know, are day traders and don't really realize it, and they buy a crypto and then like within a day or two they're looking like, they're freaking out, like looking at the charts, and they don't really realize that they're a day trader. So, I mean, that's really all depends on what kind of trader the person is. There's people that like to just buy it, hold on to it, and see where it's at in a year. And then there's other people that like to, buy it and then think they're going to hold on to it, but then they stare at the price, every 5 minutes and they start freaking out every time it goes up a percent or two. So, that's really up to investors. I'm not going to try to give anybody any recommendations on what to do and how to invest. you know if you want to hold long term and see what happens, do it, and if you don't. But the thing about long term investing is like, just like with Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin right now at, $2,700 a coin, and then, tomorrow it might be 2,500 and you might freak out. But if you're a long-term investor, you don't care what tomorrow is like. You care about in a year, where, in a year Bitcoin will probably be more than 3,000. So, and you made an interest rate on it. So it's, if it's really hard to, you can't make somebody have iron hands and be strong at trading. A lot of people end up developing a psychosis from it, I think.
Yeah, they do see that, say that making trades is actually when you start doing it, it's actually like taking like a hit for some drugs or something. like this.
Yeah,
It
yeah. It's
affects
like,
your brain similarly.
yeah. I personally, I always have a couple Bitcoin that I have tucked away for long term. That no matter what the price goes to, even if it dropped to 1,000 tomorrow, I would still not sell these coins just because I believe that Bitcoin's value will go up in the future. So there's no reason for me to do that. But yeah, I mean, you'll go crazy if you stare at day trading. It takes a very specific kind of person, a very strong-willed person. It's really tough. You can't be impatient and be a day trader. It doesn't work well.
All right. Um, I think we've been going through the questions here now. Does anyone else have any questions before we rounding this off?
Somebody just asked a question saying, what is one thing about Verge which set it apart from all other cryptocurrency out there?
Well, tomorrow's Tor Android wallet is definitely one. But like like I said, like we have I2P Electrum clients. Nobody else has that. I think my favorite part of Verge is really the community. There's just so many people that are constantly like getting excited about it that it's like, I can wake up grumpy at 8 o'clock in the morning and start drinking my morning coffee and look at our Telegram or Discord or IRC chat and end up laughing because somebody's being ridiculous. And so to me, I think that our community is the best part of it. But of course, we have tech that sets us apart also.
Yeah, we can relate to that here. During the day, everyone gets a bit wild.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely kind of it makes things more fun.
Yeah, we allow everyone here to express their opinion.
Yeah, and everybody does it in their own way, so it's
Indeed.
interesting.
I think if there's no more questions, we'll wrap it up for the evening.
Yes.
Cool.
Last question. Lions Wonder Verge T-shirt. Can you prioritize that?
Yes, we're gonna have a shop. We already bought the domain and the server, and we already have the OS Commerce sites like set up. So we're slowly building it right now, and we're just gonna throw the coin payments plugin in it, and it will accept Verge, and it will have shirts and USB sticks and whatever other kind of crazy goodies we end up putting up there.
Great.
We'll have shirts, hoodies, stuff like that.
And Explicit wonders, last question now, where can he download the full blockchain? Because Verge wallet taken ages to synchronize.
Yeah, we have a big blockchain. Like, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have ever synchronized the Bitcoin Core wallet, but it takes
Yeah, it
a
took me
long
over a
time.
day to sync the Bitcoin Core wallet.
How long ago was that, though?
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, like I've had it take a couple days depending on the computer. Um, but yeah, so you can get the blockchain down at vergecurrency.de, which is obviously Germany. Um, and you can there's instructions on the site on how to do it. You just download a zip file, throw it into the data directory, start the wallet up, you're good to go.
All right. Well, we would all like to thank you so much for showing up for our talk show today and for taking the time to come in and answer our questions. And thank you
Yeah.
for all your answers and
Thank
for
you
your
guys for
time.
having us. I hope you guys come check out our Telegram and stick around. I'll be
Yeah,
hanging out in your
Uh,
Discord.
Thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe. We will have a lot of devs on in future shows, and stay tuned into our Discord. We are here 24/7. Come chat with us and hang out with us. Thanks, guys, for watching.
I believe we
You can
have
Take care.
the Nexus dev on tomorrow night, guys, so it's worth coming back.
That is great. All right. I think thank you for watching, guys. And like I said, like and subscribe, and we're having more devs